All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. I really wish there were more people on here today because we have some important things to talk about, and I'm very glad that you are all on here. So I encourage you to tell your peers to get on here. So you guys will get, being on here today, will get a little bit of a sneak peek. Sort of. We're working on something. I've been working on it behind the scenes for quite some time now. And on Monday, we are going to be launching a new-ish training program. So if you are brand new, we're gonna actually just have you move over to the new system because it is going to be get you into production faster. If you have completed the original video training that we have and feel that's fine, we're going to give the rest of you the option to go through this other one. Some of it will be a repeat of what you've seen, and not entirely, because we have shortened some videos. We have taken what I like to call the fluff and stuff out to get down to more nitty-gritty things, because we really want to help you guys get into business. We realize that you want to know what you're doing before you really start talking to people, and there's that catch-22, right? Well, I don't want to call anybody because they might ask a question I don't know the answer to. But yet if I don't call anybody, I'm not going to get any business. And, we're here as a safety net. So we have developed something for that. We are also going to hit hard and heavy on mindset out of the gate. And I'm going to give you the shortened version of what is a 5-minute video at the beginning of this to help with that mindset. So let's start there. And then we're going to talk about a few things today. I'll tell you how we're going to release this to everyone in the program, whether you're new or not new. And then, of course, we'll leave some time at the end if you guys have something specific that you want to mastermind around, because we want to make sure we touch on that too, okay? So don't be afraid. If you do have something specific, if you think of it, please put it in the chat now or as soon as you think about it, so I can kind of keep track of our time as we go and make sure we hit on that, okay? Okay, mindset. So mindset matters. So here's the quick synopsis of the first video that's going to be in this series. This is a video that I'm going to make sure everyone in the program sees, and you guys get a quick preview. What is the one thing that you learned in real estate school that, even though they don't really teach you how to do real estate, right? What's the one thing you learned that it is incredibly important for you to be to every one of your clients?
A fiduciary.
A fiduciary. What does it mean to be a fiduciary?
Be responsible, basically, for your actions and for your client.
Okay. It's deeper than that, though. So that is part of it, for sure. What else is included in being a fiduciary?
I think loyalty to the client and to their needs.
Okay. What else?
You put their needs ahead of all else, including your own.
There you go. And that encompasses everything, right? So everything that was said is a part of it. And then it's wrapped up with you put their needs ahead of everything else, including your own. Now, let me ask you, can you be a fiduciary to your client if you don't know what you're doing?
No.
No. What?
No, it's like not even close. I mean, how can you be responsible for somebody else if you don't know, how to take care of them?
Absolutely. Now, I realize to most of you that are on here, this conversation is sort of preaching to the choir because you guys are regular for the most part on this. And I know we have a newer one on here, and I'm confident that you will also be regular here. Especially because when you're new and you show up right away, that's a good sign. So in order to be a fiduciary, we have to know how to take care of our clients. We know how to take care of our clients by learning how to do this business. And this coaching program, where we also have basic training for the newer agents, is going to help you do that. So to do that, you must do what?
Study, be interactive, being plugged in.
Yeah, plugged in, engaged, coming to everything, right? And so while I realize for those of you that are on this current Zoom, we may be preaching to the choir, so to speak. We do have many that watch this recording. So we're talking to everybody in this, okay? So you've got to be engaged. You've got to be plugged in. That means every single week coming to your weekly group coaching, whichever one that you're in, coming to this PC Mastermind. And over the next few weeks, and I'll tell you a little bit more about this before we go today, over the next few weeks, we are stepping that game up in here. We are going to be having some higher conversations, because we're going to have a challenge for you guys that we're going to put a little bit of a contest to, and we're going to create some new expectations for you. So that's just a little hint of what's to come. So also the weekly workshop. The weekly workshop really helps you put into practice some of the things that you're learning. And then, of course, our Ask a Coaches, which are there if you need them. They're not classes that you have to be to. What is the one thing, if you don't have another job, that you should be doing every day from 9 to 11?
Lead gen.
Lead gen where?
On your piece on the morning kickstart.
Yeah, on the daily kickstart. That's how we know you're plugged in. That's how you help each other stay encouraged and keep going. That's how we support each other. Okay. At a bare minimum, if you're planning to go off and do something else for lead gen, get on at 9 o'clock and practice your conversations before you go off and do anything else. That conversation practice is key to you becoming a fiduciary to your clients. It's one of the top 5 things in the MREA book that is your job description. So if you're not practicing your conversations, you're not practicing to become a fiduciary. Okay, so in this, also, this reminds me of a couple of bold laws. So I'm going to bring up 2 bold laws that I would like us to discuss. Then I'm going to share the screen so you can see the whole poster of the bold laws. And I want you guys, we haven't done this in a while, I want you guys to look at it for a minute or two. And I want you to share what bold law pops out at you, what speaks to you, that it speaks to you because you know it's something maybe you need to work on or you've struggled with, or you've found great success in practicing the meaning of that. Okay, so let's share and help each other out. But there's 2 that I want to start with because I think they are very important to our mindset in our learning and our growing and continuing to be learning based. And one of them is, and some of you that know me well hear me say this all the time, I put it in a lot of the emails, I hashtag it a lot because it's so true. Anybody know what it is? Couple of you might. You might be afraid to guess, but as soon as I say it, you got it, Emily.
Well, I don't know though. Lately, you've been using what you focus on expands a lot.
But that's not the one I'm known for. I thought you started to mouth it. So, okay. You can have reasons or results. You can't have both. So, who here wants closed escrows? Okay. Okay. Who here wants just week after week to come and listen to me talk and listen to us talk and just wallow in the fact that you don't have an escrow open?
Nope.
Okay. So doing that, you're giving yourself all kinds of reasons, right? So we can come up with every reason under the sun why we don't go to daily kickstart. why we miss PC Mastermind, why we miss our group coaching, why we're not lead generating at some other time during the day if another job or commitment that is important precludes us from coming from 9 to 11. We are masters at telling ourselves we got other things to do. Wouldn't you agree with that? Most of us are really good at that. So we can have reasons all day long, or we can quit telling ourselves those reasons and start to have results. Which one do you want to have?
Results, man.
So if you want to share, please do. And if you don't want to, that's okay. Think about this internally. What reasons are you or have you been giving yourself to not do this job to the best of your ability? So even if you don't want to share what that is, raise your hand if that describes you at all. Giving yourself reasons to not do your job to the best of your ability.
I'm still falling back on just time frame, or things that are getting in the way as far as personal things that I'm doing with the other ways of making money to kind of keep the bills paid. I got side hustles and this and that,
Okay.
so those I fall back on. Oh, that got in the way today.
So the side hustles that you're doing, what kind of income is that for you?
Well, I mean, it's actually pretty good. It's solid. Like I have a dog. My wife and I have a dog boarding company.
Oh, nice.
So we board
Yep.
dogs at the house and stuff. So in the mornings, I'm pretty, like, especially right now, really hammered on getting the dogs walked before the heat and things like that. So I'm really busting my butt to get to the PC program. And
Okay.
then things like that. But I fall back and say, oh, this is it. And then but you're right. If I don't get to it in the morning, it's hard to get back to the lead generation in the afternoon at some point. So I've got to get better with my schedule and make sure that I block that out each day, whether it's in the morning and I don't get to it, or in the afternoon at some point, sometime that day.
Yeah. So could we walk the dogs an hour earlier in the morning?
Yeah, well, I'm up at 4:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's enough time to walk the dogs before 9 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a specific example, right? But we're all really masters at, myself included, depending what it is, right? As humans, we're very good at coming up with reasons why we shouldn't do something. Who needs real estate to pay their bills? Okay.
Mm.
So if you need real estate to pay your bills or pay your lifestyle or whatever, if you had a job where you had to punch in from 9 to 5 and they told you, okay, from 9 to 11, this is what you have to do in order to keep this job, would you do whatever it was?
Mhm.
Why?
Because you lose that job, get fired. Or
So
would
every day that you choose not to do your lead generation, every day you choose not to come to Daily Kickstart, or wherever that works in your personal schedule, if you have another job, you're choosing to fire yourself.
Jodi,
Yes.
I have a question.
Mhm.
I've been having trouble to get into the Kickstart in the mornings. I already tell Brittany. And she told me to tell you.
What do you mean trouble?
Yeah, when I log in, nobody's on there.
Are you using the link that's in the calendar?
No, they send me an email every day. And I log again by there.
Okay. I will reach out to May. Eva, do me a favor. Is it Eva or Ava?
Anyone.
Okay, I want to make sure I'm saying it right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do me a favor and send me an email. Okay, because this is how I remember things, because I never unbold them till I take care of them.
Okay.
I will reach out to May. I want to make sure that the link didn't get changed and that it didn't get missed in there. If so, the first thing I will tell everybody, if you ever have trouble logging into something, make sure you go to the PC calendar and log in from there, because the PC calendar links are always up to date.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if you have trouble from there, definitely reach out because there's a glitch somewhere. But those links are always up to date. Sometimes if a link has to be changed and we forget to notify somebody, or they don't notice that it changed because it looks the same except for a couple letters, it might not have got changed in that. So always go to the calendar first when having trouble.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so try that.
I'll try
And
that.
then if that should fix your problem. And then I will reach out to May to make sure that she has the right link in there. Is anybody else using the email to get in? And you're getting in, okay?
So I'm using the weekly one, like with all the weekly PC calendar that the email comes out, and I just keep going back to that. Now, I was gonna say that we get that reminder each day, and it would be cool that the link's not on that reminder. So it'd be cool to see the reminder and be able to click it on that as well. So if she could add that link to that reminder, it would help
Okay.
out.
We hosts are also putting the link in the WhatsApp every morning.
Yeah, and the WhatsApp as well.
Yeah, you guys have links everywhere. So yeah, so Ava, are you on WhatsApp?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So also try to go through there because they are posting the links every morning to get on there.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
So sorry if whatever you're using didn't work for you, but hopefully those will fix it. If not, then definitely let us know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So basically when we're choosing not to do the parts of our job that are our job description, we're choosing to fire ourselves. I mean, unless you're here as a hobby and you only want to close a couple deals a year, and that's okay. There's no judgment in that, right? You still want to learn to do the business. You still need to learn best practice and be a fiduciary. But when you're telling us your goal is to do a certain amount, right? To get out of jobs that you've been in and those types of things, then we've got to treat it like a job. It's a real job. It's a career path. And it will only become that if it's treated that way. Any thoughts that you guys have around that bold law, reasons or results? You can't have both. Okay. The other one that I think is real, I'm going to say it, and I want you guys to take a moment to think about it, and I want to hear from you what it means to you. Don't mistake movement for achievement. What does that speak to you? And if you're muted and don't have background noise going on, feel free to unmute so you can participate freely in the conversation.
I'm thinking that the things that need more accountable for the actions that you're doing. Like, I mean, sometimes you think you're getting, or you're really busy, but you're not doing the one thing, which is a great book, but the one thing that's gonna make your business move forward.
Yeah, that's well said. Emily, did you have a thought?
Kind of the same, that you could be doing doing lots of things, but really you're just spinning your wheels.
Did you have a thought, Elizabeth?
I was kind of thinking of something. I was a gymnast growing up, and so my coach always told me this. If you'd win a meet or you do really well, you're successful, you get that success, it feels like movement. And then a lot of times people would kind of get stagnant because you're so on a high from that bit of movement instead of continuing to achieve.
Yeah.
I thought of that.
You know what's interesting? I love that you said that, because what triggered in my mind the second she said that was something very specific. And can anyone guess what it is related to your real estate?
I'm thinking the first time you get a transaction, you focus on that, and you cut off your lead generation.
Exactly.
Stop your lead generation.
So it's really important that we don't mistake our movement or the things that we're doing that are that 80%, right? You've heard of the 80-20 principle. 20% of our actions produce 80% of the results. There's only 5 main things we do as a real estate agent that produce all the results. Is there other stuff to do? Yes, but that's the 80%. That's the stuff we do later in the day when we have the time. Because guess what? That will get done. When you have an inspection that you have to go to, or you have documents you have to get to your TC and they have to be there by a certain time, you're going to get that done, right? That's going to happen. But when you're letting all of that crowd into the 20% time, getting more business, filling that pipeline, and then where's the achievement, right? Because it's those big rocks that are going to create the results, right? And we have lots of movement all over the place. I can sit here all day long and look at this and move this over here and move this over here. Oh, I like this better over here. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. I got to organize this. Oh, wait, this is messy, right? I really just can't see everything I was doing, but you get the picture, right? I could sit here for an hour cleaning out my desk, moving things around. Did I accomplish anything for my business? And that's what we get stuck in. We get stuck in, I got to make business cards. I got to make a pretty flyer. Oh, the spacing isn't quite right on my flyer. Oh, that should be a different font. Who cares? They're going to throw it away anyway.
You know what else is another good thought is, and I did it for a short period of time, was trying to get my contacts into my command and making sure that they're all there. And then I caught myself and I started calling as I added them, just so I was like a little bit productive and not worried about getting them all in there, but as I added them. So that was an easier way to check it, set it up, and get some in.
Yeah,
To
10 a
make
day.
sure that I was doing something.
Right? 10 a day minimum, 10 a day, 10 a day, 10 a day until it's done.
Yeah.
Reaching out, calling them, talking to them, getting missing information, adding your notes. 10 a day until it's done.
Jodi, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
For example, most of my contacts, most of them work, and most of them they get out after 6. And I have I'm thinking, what is the best timing like for contact them? Because in the morning they work, and after work, but they come out, they're tired, they're gonna shower, they're gonna do dinner or something, and I say, well, what is the best time that I should get them? What should she ask to me?
Okay, so good question. And that goes back to reasons or results, right?
Mhm.
So in that statement, the question you're asking, that's telling yourself reasons why you shouldn't call them, right? How many people actually answer their cell phones at work?
What do you think?
A lot of people do. Maybe you catch them on a break. Here's what happens though. When we do our lead generation in the morning, we get it done. Even if you have to leave them a message because they didn't pick up the phone, which is going to happen, guess what? No matter what time you call them, what day you call them, right? So
Yeah.
does that mean that you can't spend one evening a week doing some calls because maybe evenings are okay, are better? Maybe you've called a person, you're doing your quarterly calls, and the last 2 times you called them at 10:30 in the morning, you didn't get them. Maybe that week, have one evening that you do it. So you can do that. But here's the thing. The point of reaching out to your sphere on a regular basis is to keep yourself top of mind for them.
Mhm.
If they see a missed call from you, if they get a message from you, you're still on their mind.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So don't let yourself be talked out of doing it when it should be done just because they might not answer the phone.
Some of them, what I did, I send a text message with my business card, and most of them return my call. They return my message, but they call me.
There
And
you
they tell
go.
me, thank you. And from those 6, I think was 6, I told Brittany I'm gonna do 10 last week. And from this 6, I get 3 appointments for last week.
Yay.
Yeah.
Good job.
I didn't finish my 10, so, and I get stuck. And I said, oh my God, that I'm doing the right thing. But
If
yeah.
you got 3 appointments, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
You're definitely doing something right.
Yes, yeah, that's what will happen. And I say, well, it's, I don't know if it is fine to continue with the text messages with the business card. If I continue that way, I
Mhm.
think it will be good, or just give them the call, leave a message, or either way.
So the 3 appointments you got, did you send a text message with a business card?
Yes, one I talked to him, and
Okay.
the other 2 was with the message.
Okay. So
Yeah.
if 2 people, how many texts have you sent with a business card, would you
Just one.
guess so far?
Just one. Just one.
You've only sent 1 text with a
Yeah,
business card
one, yes.
to 1 person?
Yes,
That's all you've text?
yes, and then he answered me back.
And did you make an appointment with him?
Yes,
Okay, so if you've only done it once
Because I
and
know
you got
him
an
for a lot.
appointment, what do
It's,
you
it's
think
people
you're
that I
doing?
know.
Okay, so you did it once, you got an appointment. Do you think you should keep doing it?
Yes, I think he should.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
because there are
100%
people,
results right there.
usually I saw a person, because I'm a church person, and I go every morning and I see one of my church person, and I saw her and she told me, oh, I haven't seen you for a while. Have you been? And I just tell her, you know what? I'm a realtor and I'm busy right now working. He said, oh, and I tell her, I'm going to send you a text message with my business card. I said, oh yeah, definitely send me one. And I said, well, okay, I continue doing it.
Okay, so here's the thing, guys. If something's working, keep doing it.
Okay.
If something's not working, evaluate whether you should keep doing it. And why I say it that way is because if you do something once, twice, 3 times and it doesn't work, that doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't work, right? We have to do something long enough to get results. If you were to tell me you sent 100 texts with 100 business cards over 3 months and no one responded, maybe you try a different tactic. But if you sent 5
can I ask
business
a question?
cards,
So speaking of that, and given that this came up with voicemails, I'm curious what those of you in the call have found has been an effective voicemail, because I do get a lot of of people not picking up their phone in the mornings, but I'm still doing the calls and I'm not getting a lot of response. What works for those of you who are doing that? Leaving a voicemail with somebody in your sphere.
I haven't found it yet. I don't get a lot of calls back. If they
Yeah.
answer the phone, we have great conversations. But if
Yeah.
I leave a voicemail, then granted, I'm not usually leaving a voicemail that requires a response.
Yeah.
I know with the Stephen Jackson, the NLP program that we just did, he said, always leave a voicemail or a text. If I don't get your response, I will call you back, and then follow up and call them back. So just kind of always leave that line open to to where
That's
I
a good
will,
idea.
or you put, you know, I
Yeah,
want
because
you to,
I
need you
personally
to
don't like
contact
it
me.
when,
Yeah,
sorry, go
or
ahead.
I'm going to contact you back.
Mhm.
Yeah, I personally don't like it when people leave me a voicemail and say, "Hey, just give me a call," and there's no there's no message along with that. So
Mhm.
I'm also reluctant to be salesy on the call. So just
Mhm.
not wanting to be too long in what I'm leaving a message with, and just wanting to get some kind of response, I guess.
Yeah. I agree with what Ernie, the takeaway from there, because what I like to advise is that if you do leave a voicemail, just, hi, Krista, this is Jodi. I was just
Mhm.
calling to see how you're doing. I'm so sorry I missed you. You know what? No obligation to call back. I'll reach out again in the future and just check on you. Was just wanting
Yeah.
that. So take the
Mhm.
obligation of having to
Mhm.
call you back
Yeah.
away. Right? Because like you said, Krista, if somebody just says, hey, I just wanted to talk to you, give me a call. What do they want to talk to me about?
Right. I want to know.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. And so that's my reluctance is, I don't want to just, especially if it's somebody I haven't talked to. Like, I mean, I'm going through this whole list of, the memory joggers. And I mean, there's tons of people that I have not talked to in 5 years from when my girls played volleyball that, live locally and they're great contacts, but just figuring that part out, like how do you get that conversation? So
By the
yeah.
way, I'm thrilled to see somebody using those. Great
So
job.
yeah. And then just to help you out, like I'm my sphere of influence, I'm going through old rosters. There are all the kids that are people that I've coached, the parents and all that. And
Yeah.
actually it's easier than your friends or your relatives in your close sphere.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
I just flat out tell them, hey, I'm a real estate agent now, and I'm going through my database and I'm updating everything. And your name came up, man. How has it been? I haven't talked to you in a while. And then
I
it's
love
just
that.
a great breaker. And then and then they said, oh wow, you're in it, or hey, what have you been up to? And they flat out just say, well, what have you been doing? It's like, well, guess what? This is kind of the way your name come up, and I apologize for not talking to you, but it's a great deal breaker. And then you go into that. I just started and I need your help. And do you know of anybody, or are you guys looking? I haven't talked to you in a while, things like that. But I need some people to help, direct me to some deals. So, but
No, that is
it
more
just
the
seems like it's a lot
conversation.
easier.
Yeah. Ernie, are you saying that that's kind of what you would talk about on the phone, not necessarily in a voicemail?
Yeah, I mean, but then even
Yeah.
on voicemail. So, and then I had
Mhm.
that thing to where we were going back. Should I leave a voicemail or should I just hang up? You know, and some of them I hung up and they called me back. Hey, haven't heard from you in a while, so you called. But then I left voicemails and saying just that little line. Hey,
Yeah.
your name come up. I'm cleaning out or going through my database, and your name came up, and I thought it'd be a great time to talk to you. Sorry I didn't get a hold of you. Give me a call back if you can. If I don't hear from you, I'll give you a call back. And bam, and right, so that I wrote that down and practiced that.
Yeah.
That's my takeaway this afternoon. I'm totally going to do that because this has probably been my biggest hurdle with calling is what do I do when I get voicemail? And I get so many voicemails because people don't pick up their phone at 9 a.m, but I don't want to miss that opportunity. And I know it's there. So I think I need to work on that script and practice it. So
yeah. And
thank you, Ernie.
To Ernie's point, I love that you shared that. I love that. Okay, so somebody you haven't talked to in 5 years, somebody that you knew in a past, whatever you did, right? So, hey, I'm in real estate now, and I was going through an old list of names, and oh my gosh, when I came across your name, I realized I haven't talked to you in so long. I just wanted to see how you're doing. I'll give you a call again in a couple of weeks or so to see how you're doing, right? So yeah, tell them you're in real estate. You never know. That could jog something. Be honest about it. Don't try to hide it. But make it sound like when you saw their name, you were excited, like, oh my gosh, why haven't I talked to them in so long?
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's been people that have moved out of town. Like I had one guy, I mean, oh yeah, we moved to Dallas. And I was like, well, really? I didn't hear about that. I didn't know that. And we're going back and forth because his sister's thinking about selling and moving out to Dallas where they're at. So we've been kind of going back and forth, and he wants to talk to her. I'm still trying to get her number from him.
Yeah.
Type deal. But it's still it's kind of a lead. So
Yeah, and I think that first, like, picking up the phone part of, like, actually getting that conversation, it's like that's where kind of what you're describing, it's like it's a nurturing thing of, keeping top of mind in the possibility of that transaction.
but it's not going to happen unless you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Bottom line.
I'm going to put this on the screen. I want you to take a minute to look at it. And I want each one to take like 60 seconds or less. Pick one out and tell us why it speaks to you. Who's going to go first? I can see you guys reading sideways.
Oh, come on, guys. I don't always be the first.
I can pick a couple.
Okay.
This one towards the bottom left, people will grow into the conversations you create around them. I feel like that speaks to what we were just talking about. And so the opportunity is kind of what hangs in the balance of, maybe what's going in my thoughts about what an opportunity that is for a potential client, but until I create that conversation, they may not take that step, into the next thing. So I'm thinking about a young teacher that I actually mentored when I was teaching. And I know that she and her husband are going to want to buy, but I know that she has a mindset that, the rates are too high. We're not ready. And so just learning how to feed them the content or the information that will help them to grow into a more ready position.
I love that. That's a great way to apply that one. And not many people apply it in that way. And I love that you say that, Krista. And maybe in that certain scenario, remember, as real estate agents, you're almost kind of coaches in a way too, to your clients, right? So having conversations, not just giving them facts about interest rates and facts about this and facts about that, right? But take them down a path of 6 months, a year from now, when property values are even higher. And what if rates go up even more? And even though it might be scary, you can buy now, you're just nervous. How are you going to feel if you don't? And then you're not able to a year from now. So take them down a path that helps them tie emotion to outcome and how it can help them. That's part of being a fiduciary, right? Not trying to sell them something, not trying to make them do something they truly can't do. If it's financially not sound, if they truly can't afford it, that's a whole other story. But if you know that they can, and you know it's good for them, and you know waiting is only going to make it harder, having those types of conversations. I love that. Thank you for sharing. Who else has one?
What you focus on expands really stood out. I mean, a lot of these things of what I'm teaching with my coaching, but there's like 4 of them, and then things aren't always how they appear to be. And then the one that I always taught a lot is there is no try.
Mm-hmm.
And then teach people how to treat you.
Yeah, that's a big one. One of these days, we need to have a conversation where we have one conversation that just keeps adding these together, because you could make a whole a whole page of conversation around this, right?
Mhm.
The there is no try makes me think of Yoda. Do or do not. There is no
Well,
try.
yeah, so on the ball field, I used to throw down and like, well, I'll try. And then I'd throw my pin down and I go, try and pick that up. And they'd start to bend down. And I'm like, no, you're doing it. No, and I go, try and pick it up. And they bend down and pick it up. No, you're not trying, you're doing it. Because there is no try. Just get it done. Okay, coach.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah.
So what you focus on expands. I like that you bring that one out because that's so true, right?
Mhm.
If we focus on the fact that we're making calls all the time and everybody's saying no and nobody's talking to me, that's the attitude you're going to bring to your lead generation. You're not
Mhm.
going to have people want to talk to you. You're not going to be very successful. But if you focus on the fact that I'm making my calls, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, I might not have any business yet, but if I just keep going, it will happen. You see the difference?
Mhm.
Emily, what was yours?
I'm also a coach, so I like how you participate in here is how you participate everywhere. I made a big deal about if you half-ass it in practice, you're going to half-ass it in the game. So got to do it here.
Yep. And by the way, may I say thank you to all of you who are here. You have your cameras on. This is how you participate here. That 5-minute mindset video that we're starting our new program off with sets the stage and it talks about how you participate here is how you participate everywhere. And we need to show up ready to learn and participate. Cameras on, not doing distracting activities in the background, because then you're not there to learn. And if that's the case, might as well not show up. And if you're not showing up, you're not learning and you're not becoming a fiduciary. I love that. Ava, do you have one?
I was just reading, and the success is simple, not easy. Well, that's very true, because in this career, it's a lot of challenges, especially to get in relationship with people that we really don't know. For the people that we know, well, it is easy to contact them and talk to them, but with people that we don't know, I think that's a very challenging. And this is where we say, well, it's not easy. It's a hard to get into success.
Yeah, it's simple in that we know exactly what we need to do,
Yes.
but doing it's another story, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. How about you, Elizabeth?
There's a lot that stand out, but one specifically, oh wait, my page is now it's blocked, but you get what you deserve in your imagination. And that stood out because I was actually just talking to a friend about this, how we kind of cap ourselves at a certain point of achievement, kind of like telling ourselves something's not possible. So like the more you're able to expand in your imagination and believe in yourself and tell yourself you deserve that, the more you can do. And the opposite's true. Like it can also keep you in a cage. So I really like that reminder.
I like that. Absolutely. How about you, Maria?
There's one that always stands out when I see this, and it's if it's not on your schedule, it doesn't exist. Because sometimes even when we put things on our schedule or calendar, we find reasons not to do it. So we need to put it there, and then that that's the other one too. You can have reasons or results. You can't have both. So put things on the calendar. Stick to them, even if it's at least your 2 hours of lead gen every day. And then when you work, real estate works.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I'm going to share one last one, and that goes along with the conversation that we've been having. And it's change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change.
I'm gonna get on this.
So what would be something in regard to the conversation we've been having that we could change the way we look at to make it good to help move our business forward. So what is the one thing that you know is the most important thing you need to do to get business?
The relationships.
Build relationships. And that's part of what are we actually doing when we're reaching out to our sphere, when we're holding open houses, when we're knocking on doors? What are we actually doing?
Lead generation.
Lead generation. What is the one thing that most of us have the most difficult time doing?
Lead generation.
So isn't it interesting that the single most important thing to the success of our business is the single thing that we all like the least, or the majority like the least? But how about change the way we look at it? Instead of looking at it like a drudgery, I'm going to be bugging people. Oh, I hate talking on the phone. I don't want to do that today. What if we said, I have to do this today. I don't want some unscrupulous other realtor to reach out to the people I know and try to sell them a house and take advantage of them and not help them. I want to do this for my family. I need money to do that. I have to lead generate today. I get to lead generate today. I get to control my business. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. The more you do it, the easier it'll become. When you start to see results from it, you'll actually start to maybe not dislike it so much. But if we keep looking at it like a drudgery and we keep making reasons why we don't want to do it for 2 hours every day, we're not going to get those results. Things are not going to change. So what's the definition of insanity?
Doing the
things
same
and
thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
So if you're not getting the result that you want, what should you be doing?
Change it.
And sometimes it isn't just changing. Sometimes it's what?
Just doing it.
Improving.
Improving or doing more of,
Mhm.
right? Just because we have Kickstart from 9 to 11, does that mean you can't start at 8 o'clock or end at 12? No. The only reason we do it from 9 to 11 is because we recognize that many have children. I know they're out of school right now, but in general, many have children. They have to get off to school. They have to do things. So we take that reason away and start you at 9 o'clock, right? And then we stop at 11 because many market centers have their team meetings one day at 11 or start having other things going on. Doesn't mean you have to stop. Right? Because if you don't have business, you should be lead generating for as long as possible during the day. During the time you would otherwise go on appointments, do some more lead generation. If you've been on the phone for 2 hours and you're tired of calling people, mall, go shopping, go with the intention of meeting people, talking to people, getting contact information, meeting more people.
Jodi, I have a question.
Mhm.
It is right if we can go to those houses to try to get a listing on those, on the foreclosure houses.
I mean, if you can try to reach out to sellers, it depends on the where they're at in the process. If the bank's already taken over, then the banks usually have agents that they work with that they're going to list the properties with. But if they're in a pre-foreclosure, they're not foreclosed on yet, and they have equity in their home, you might be able to help them sell it before they get foreclosed on.
Oh, okay. Okay, because I have a title company that it's providing me lists for foreclosures houses. And I say, well, I should ask Judy first before I do an action.
Yeah, well, you can call, right? You can call and find out the circumstances.
Yeah.
Nothing says you can't call that bank and try to work out being their preferred realtor.
Okay, I will do that.
You know, our it's funny that next week, or I think it's next week, our one of the title officers in our office is doing a whole thing with the lawyer coming in about contacting those type of people and getting listings from it. So yeah, that's why I like a probate lawyer, or I'm looking for a divorce lawyer to get into my stable, and a probate lawyer to get into my like stable, like affiliate or something like that, and then
Mhm.
get them to refer me and things like that.
Yeah, business to business is a great way to lead generate too.
Mhm.
Go out and find other businesses you can refer business to and have referral agreements with them that they refer business to you.
Speaking of the probates and foreclosures, is there a training that you would recommend for taking a listing like that? We had a state lawyer come into our office this morning actually, and was just talking about when there is no estate set up and somebody passes and just like basically probate hell for 2 years. So I think just I would like to be a little more informed about that stuff. Just both representing a buyer, because I work with some investors that might be interested in a probate sale because of the price point, and also just potential listings.
There are different things. Go on to car.org. There's some information on there. And then sometimes, like the Market Center brought to you, the title companies will sometimes bring a class. You can reach out to them as well.
Mhm.
So there's lots of different ways out there that you can get some information. And I know on the education portion of the CAR website, they have some good information on that. Okay, I want to, because we only have a couple minutes left. So I said I was going to give you a little bit of a sneak peek. We are going to pay attention to your emails, either Friday or Monday. I haven't decided when it's going out yet. We're going to be launching a challenge with a contest, and the contest is just kind of bonus. Don't even focus too much on that. But here's the expectation we are going to be setting with all new agents moving forward. So I want all agents to be thinking this way. Your requirement as a real estate agent, your expectation is to have one real estate appointment per week. If you have one real estate appointment per week, you are guaranteed to knock your goals out of the park. Because most of you don't need one a week for your goals, and one a week is not that many, right? That's nothing compared to people that have been doing this for years and are massively successful. One appointment a week is going to increase your business exponentially. But here's the caveat, and this is what all new agents are going to be held accountable to moving forward coming into this program. And I want you guys to hold yourselves accountable to this. If by Thursday, you don't have a bona fide real estate appointment, a listing appointment, or a buyer consultation, I want you to call a friend or a family member and set an appointment to have a practice, buyer consultation, or listing appointment. Okay. The more you practice, the more confident you're going to get. And there's videos in the toolkit for how to do them. They're shortened videos because it's just, this is what you do here. The conversations actually will make your appointment longer than the video. But I want you to practice them. And here's going to be the rule. If you have like 2 weeks in a row without a bona fide real estate appointment, you can't use the same family or friend twice in a row, because you'll start getting way too comfortable And the point is, we want you to practice and we want you to get confident. And remember the bold law we talked about today. We've been talking about it a lot, and Ernie brought it up today. What you focus on expands. So if you're focusing on appointments, even if it's a practice appointment with a friend or family member, the real estate appointments will start coming. Guess what'll happen as a side benefit to practicing with your friends and family?
Good return.
They'll start referring you business. They'll start remembering people that need help.
Mhm.
There is a productivity coaching program back east that has been doing this. They're actually requiring their new agents to do 5 listing appointments practice, 5 practice buyer consultations as part of their onboarding. So in their first like 90 days or 30 days or something. And that's what's happening. They're actually getting real pieces of business out of this. So we're going to start implementing that in a little bit different way than they're doing it, but in a way that is keeping you focused on appointments. So soon, if you're having more practice appointments than actual appointments, that will change soon if you keep focused on it. Okay, so we're going to send out some more detailed information about that and how that's going to work.